First contact and cultural clash. The sleek diplomatic shuttle glided through the iridescent nebula, its hull gleaming in the light of distant stars. Inside, Ambassador Elena Rodriguez adjusted her formal attire, her hands trembling slightly with a mix of excitement and apprehension. Today marked humanity's official first contact with the Zarkeli Federation, a moment that would shape the course of galactic history. Approaching Zarkeli Prime, Ambassador, the pilot's voice crackled through the intercom. We'll be docking at the Grand Spire in approximately 10 minutes. Elena nodded, taking a deep breath to steady her nerves. She glanced at the carrier beside her, a soft meow emanating from within. I know, Whiskers, she murmured. It's a big day for both of us. The decision to bring her cat along had been controversial. Some argued it was unprofessional. Others insisted it was essential to show the aliens a glimpse of human culture. In the end, Elena's reputation as a skilled negotiator had won out. If she believed Whiskers would help, then Whiskers would come. As the shuttle docked with a gentle thud, Elena steeled herself. The airlock hissed open, revealing a delegation of Zarkeli officials. Their translucent, gelatinous bodies pulsed with bioluminescent patterns, a dizzying display of color and light. Greetings, Ambassador Rodriguez, the lead Zarkeli burbled, its translator converting the liquid sounds into crisp English. I am High Counselor Zixara. Welcome to our world. Elena bowed deeply, careful not to disturb Whisker's carrier. Thank you, High Counselor. On behalf of Earth and all of humanity, we are honored to. Her words were cut short by a startled gasp from one of the Zarkeli aides. All eyes turned to the carrier, where Whiskers had chosen that moment to let out a particularly loud meow. What is that sound? Zixara's body flashed with patterns of alarm. Have you brought some sort of weapon aboard our station? Elena's eyes widened. No, of course not. This is Whiskers, my companion. She opened the carrier, gently lifting the fluffy white cat into her arms. On Earth, we keep animals as pets. They provide companionship and... The reaction was instantaneous. The Zarkeli recoiled, their bodies rippling with patterns of fear and disgust. Whiskers, startled by the sudden movement, hissed and swiped a paw through the air. You bring a predator to a peace summit. Zixara's voice trembled with indignation. This creature has natural weapons. Look at those claws, those teeth. Elena struggled to regain control of the situation. Please let me explain. Whiskers is domesticated. He's no threat to anyone. On Earth, we've lived alongside animals for thousands of years. They're an integral part of our culture. But the damage was done. The Zarkeli huddled together, their translucent bodies now pulsing with angry red hues. This meeting is over, Zixara declared. We cannot negotiate with a species that consorts with such dangerous beasts. You will leave immediately. As Elena was escorted back to her shuttle, Whiskers safely tucked away in his carrier, she couldn't help but feel a deep sense of failure. Years of careful diplomacy, undone in moments by a simple cultural misunderstanding. The journey back to Earth was tense. Elena spent hours composing her report, trying to explain how something as innocuous as a house cat had nearly derailed humanity's entry onto the galactic stage. As the blue marble of home came into view, she made a decision. This setback wouldn't be the end. Somehow, she'd find a way to bridge the divide between humanity and the Zarkeli. Weeks passed, filled with emergency meetings and heated debates. The diplomatic course was divided on how to proceed. Some argued for abandoning the idea of pets altogether in future negotiations. Others insisted that humanity shouldn't compromise its values. It was during one such meeting that inspiration struck. Elena stood up, silencing the room with a raised hand. What if, she began, instead of hiding our relationship with animals, we showcase it? Invite representatives from across the galaxy to Earth for a grand exhibition. Show them the full spectrum of human-animal bonds. The idea was met with skepticism at first, but as Elena laid out her vision, excitement began to build. A galactic pet show, demonstrating not just the diversity of Earth's fauna, but the myriad ways humans and animals worked together. From service dogs to therapy horses, from falconry to animal-assisted search and rescue. It's risky, the Secretary General admitted, but it might just work. Ambassador Rodriguez, you have the green light. Make it happen. And so preparations began. Invitations were sent out across known space. The response was mixed. Many species expressed curiosity, albeit tinged with apprehension. The Zarkali, still smarting from the first contact debacle, initially refused to attend. It took weeks of careful negotiation before they grudgingly agreed to send a small delegation. As the date of the exhibition drew near, Elena found herself working around the clock. Venue preparations, security measures, cultural sensitivity briefings, the logistics were staggering. But as she watched the first alien ships begin to arrive in Earth orbit, she felt a surge of hope. This was their chance to show the galaxy the best of humanity. The night before the exhibition, Elena sat in her apartment, absently stroking whiskers as she reviewed her opening speech one last time. The cat purred contentedly, oblivious to the weight of the moment. "Well, old friend," Elena murmured, "tomorrow, we show the universe what Earth is really all about. Let's hope they're ready for it." As she drifted off to sleep, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that something monumental was about to unfold. Little did she know just how right she was, or how the bonds between humans and animals were about to be tested in ways no one could have imagined. The Galactic Pet Show Challenge. The dawn broke over the sprawling exhibition grounds, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold. Elena stood at the entrance, watching as a steady stream of vehicles and teleportation beams brought in participants from around the world. Dogs of every breed imaginable trotted beside their human companions. Cats lounged in carriers, some eyeing the proceedings with regal disdain. More exotic animals, parrots, lizards, even a few carefully monitored big cats, added splashes of color and sound to the mix. But it wasn't just the animals that caught Elena's attention. Dotted among the human crowd were the alien delegates, their diverse forms a testament to the vastness of the galaxy. Crystalline beings from the silicon worlds of the Orion Arm shimmered in the morning light. Methane breathers from gas giant moons waddled in their protective suits. And there, near the back, a small group of Zarkali, their gelatinous bodies pulsing with what Elena hoped was curiosity rather than disgust. "Quite a turnout," a voice said beside her. Elena turned to see Dr. Amit Patel, Earth's leading xenobiologist and her right-hand man for this event. "Let's hope we can pull this off without an interstellar incident." Elena nodded, straightening her jacket. "We've prepared as much as we can. Now it's time to show the galaxy what humanity and our animal friends can do." The opening ceremony was a carefully choreographed affair. Elena's speech struck a balance between diplomatic formality and genuine passion, emphasizing the long history of human-animal cooperation. As she spoke, holographic displays showcased scenes from throughout history, ancient cave paintings of hunts, Egyptian hieroglyphs of cat worship, medieval falconry, all the way up to modern service animals and conservation efforts. "We invite you," Elena concluded, "to open your minds and hearts to the unique bonds we forged with our fellow Earth creatures. May this exhibition be the first step towards greater understanding between all species of the galaxy." With that, the Galactic Pet Show officially began. The grounds were divided into themed areas, each showcasing different aspects of human-animal relationships. In the working animals section, border collies demonstrated their herding skills, guiding flocks of sheep with preternatural precision. Nearby, search and rescue dogs navigated a simulated disaster area, their keen noses leading them unerringly to hidden survivors. The Zarkali delegation hovered at the edges, their bodies flickering with patterns of confusion and alarm. "These creatures," one of them burbled to Elena, "they obey your commands without coercion." "Not just obey," Elena explained, leading them towards a demonstration of animal-assisted therapy. "They work with us, often understanding our needs before we even express them." They watched as a young girl with autism, initially withdrawn and anxious, slowly began to open up as she stroked a gentle therapy horse. The Zarkali's colors shifted to softer hues, a sign Elena interpreted as thoughtfulness. Not all reactions were as positive. A group of methane-breathing Kluulax recoiled in horror at the sight of a falconry display, their tentacles writhing in agitation. "You allow predators to fly freely," their translator squawked. "What if they turned on the crowd?" Elena spent the next hour explaining the intricacies of animal training, the bonds of trust built over generations. It was slow going, but by the end, the Kluulax seemed at least willing to observe from a safe distance. As the day wore on, Elena found herself bouncing from one potential crisis to another. A Rigelian ambassador was fascinated by cats, but allergic to their fur, leading to a sneezing fit that nearly shorted out their universal translator. A well-meaning child tried to feed a carrot to a bewildered iguana, requiring a hasty lesson in reptile dietary needs. And more than one alien species struggled with the concept of petting, their appendages ill-suited for the task. Yet for every misunderstanding, there were moments of genuine connection. Elena watched with pride as a group of silicon-based lifeforms engaged in a lengthy discussion with marine biologists about the similarities between Earth's octopi and their own 8-limbed ancestors. A Zarkali scientist, initially skeptical, became utterly entranced by a demonstration of honeybee communication, its body pulsing with patterns Elena had never seen before. Excitement, perhaps. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the grounds, Elena allowed herself a moment of cautious optimism. It hadn't been perfect, but progress was being made. Species that had recoiled in horror that morning were now asking thoughtful questions, even timidly interacting with some of the gentler animals. She was just about to head to the closing ceremony when Dr. Patel rushed up, his face pale. "Elena," he gasped, "we have a problem. The Arcturus delegation, they've gone missing." Elena's blood ran cold. The Arcturians were a notoriously xenophobic species, only reluctantly attending the exhibition. If something had happened to them, where were they last seen? She demanded, already moving towards the security station. "Near the exotic pets area," Amit replied, jogging to keep up. "But Elena, that's not all. Some of the monitoring equipment picked up unusual energy readings just before they disappeared. It might not be an accident." Elena's mind raced. Had they stumbled upon some sort of trap? Or worse, had they decided to take matters into their own hands, viewing Earth's animals as a potential threat to galactic security? As they reached the security hub, alarms began to blare across the exhibition grounds. On the monitors, Elena watched in horror as shimmering portals began to open throughout the complex. Through each one, nightmarish creatures began to emerge, tentacled horrors, chitinous insectoids, things that defied easy description. "It's an invasion," Amit whispered, his voice barely audible over the rising panic. Elena steeled herself, years of diplomatic training kicking in. "Get me a line to every section leader," she ordered the security chief, "and contact Earth's defense forces. We need to evacuate the aliens and—" Her words were cut short by a deafening roar. On one of the monitors, she saw a massive shape charge towards one of the portals. It was Raja, one of the Bengal tigers from a conservation exhibit. Before anyone could react, the great cat had pounced on the emerging creature, its powerful jaws clamping down on a writhing tentacle. For a moment, everything seemed to freeze. Then, as if a switch had been flipped, chaos erupted across the exhibition grounds. But it wasn't the panic Elena had expected. Instead, she watched in awe as animals of all kinds began to move with purpose, placing themselves between the invaders and the terrified alien delegates. A pack of wolves from a rewilding program encircled a group of Zarkali, snarling at the approaching monstrosities. Parrots and falcons dive-bombed the flying horrors, their sharp beaks and talons finding vulnerable spots. Even the therapy animals seemed to sense the gravity of the situation, with normally placid Labradors and horses moving to shield their charges. And there, in the midst of it all, Elena spotted a familiar flash of white fur. Whiskers, who had been lounging in the VIP area, was now perched on the shoulder of a terrified Klulax, hissing and swiping at any threat that came near. As Earth's military forces began to arrive, Elena made a decision. This wasn't just about saving the exhibition anymore. This was humanity's chance to show the galaxy what they were truly capable of, not just their technology or their diplomacy, but the unique partnership they had forged with the creatures of their world. Grabbing a megaphone, Elena's voice rang out across the chaotic grounds. Everyone, listen up. We're going to get through this together. Humans, work with your animal partners. Alien delegates, trust in Earth's creatures. They're here to protect you. As her words spread, translated into dozens of alien languages, Elena saw a transformation begin to take place. The panic began to subside, replaced by a strange sort of coordinated chaos. Humans and animals moved as one, guiding aliens to safety, fending off the invaders with an efficiency that seemed to surprise even the Earth's military. In that moment, as the tide of battle began to turn, Elena realized that this beautiful, chaotic, improbable alliance was the true legacy of humanity. And as she watched Azar Kali tentatively pat the head of a German shepherd that had just saved its life, she knew that the future of galactic relations would never be the same. Unexpected heroes. The battle raged on through the night, a surreal spectacle of Earth's fauna and flora pitted against otherworldly horrors. As the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, the last of the invaders were finally driven back through their shimmering portals. An eerie silence fell over the exhibition grounds, broken only by the occasional bark, meow, or alien warble. Elena stood at the command center, her once pristine suit now torn and stained, Whiskers perched protectively on her shoulder. Around her, a motley crew of humans, animals, and alien delegates gathered, all bearing the marks of the night's struggle. "Status report," she called out, her voice hoarse from hours of shouting orders. Dr. Amit Patel limped forward, a parrot nestled comfortably on his arm. "The last of the portals have been closed, Ambassador. Earth's military is securing the perimeter, and we're treating the wounded, both human and alien." Elena nodded, absently scratching Whiskers under the chin. "And our unexpected allies?" Amit's face broke into a weary smile. "That's the most incredible part. The animals are still at it, Ambassador. The therapy dogs are comforting shocked aliens. The search and rescue teams are helping locate anyone who got separated in the chaos. Even the big cats are standing guard over the wounded. It's like they instinctively know their job isn't done." A commotion near the entrance caught Elena's attention. The Zarkali delegation, led by a visibly shaken Zixara, approached. Their gelatinous bodies pulsed with a kaleidoscope of colors Elena had never seen before. "Ambassador Rodriguez," Zixara burbled, its translator struggling to convey the complex emotions in its voice. We owe you and your people a great debt, and not just your people." The High Counselor's gaze shifted to Whiskers, then to the German shepherd standing vigilantly nearby. "These creatures, these pets of yours, we gravely misunderstood their nature and purpose." Elena felt a surge of hope. This was the moment she had been working towards, though she never could have imagined it would come about like this. "High Counselor, I'm just relieved you're safe. Perhaps now we can." Her words were cut short by a series of urgent beeps from the command center's main console. A holographic display flickered to life, showing a massive ship entering Earth's orbit. Its design was unlike anything in known galactic records. "Unknown vessel," a technician called out, fear evident in her voice. "They're hailing us." Elena straightened her posture, ignoring the aches from the night's battle. "Put them through," she ordered, silently praying this wasn't a second wave of the invasion. The holographic display shifted, revealing a being that defied easy description. It seemed to shimmer and shift, as if struggling to maintain a consistent form in our reality. "People of Earth," the being's voice resonated, somehow understood by all present despite the lack of any visible translation technology. "I am Zinxar, overseer of the Galactic Council. We have been observing your world for some time, uncertain whether your species was ready to join the greater cosmic community. Elena's mind raced. A test. Had this all been some sort of elaborate evaluation? Zinsar continued, its form rippling like heat haze. The attack you faced was a simulation, a final test to gauge your species' potential. Never in our millennia of observation have we seen a response quite like this. The assembled crowd murmured in a mix of languages and inhuman sounds. Elena felt whiskers tense on her shoulder, as if sensing the gravity of the moment. Your technology, while impressive, is not unique, Zinsar explained. Your physical capabilities, while notable, are not unprecedented. But this, the being gestured, and images of the night's battle appeared around it. Horses carrying wounded aliens to safety, dogs leading evacuations through smoke-filled corridors, cats hissing and spitting at terrifying apparitions, buying precious seconds for their human companions. This symbiosis, this partnership with the other sentient beings of your world, is something we have never encountered. It speaks to a capacity for cooperation, for nurturing bonds across species lines, that we believe will be invaluable in the challenges that lie ahead. Elena found her voice at last. Overseer Zinsar, we appreciate your assessment, but I must object to the method. Lives were put at risk, interstellar relations nearly shattered. Zinsar's form seemed to nod, or at least shift in a way that conveyed acknowledgement. Your concern for others, even in the face of cosmic revelations, further proves our point, Ambassador. Rest assured, fail-safes were in place. No true harm would have befallen anyone here. But the fear, the chaos, that was real. And it was in that crucible that the true nature of humanity and its animal companions was revealed. The being's form expanded, filling the holographic display. Humanity and the creatures of Earth, we formally invite you to join the Galactic Council. Your unique perspective and abilities will be invaluable in the trials to come. As Zinsar's image faded, the assembled crowd erupted in a cacophony of cheers, barks, squawks, and alien vocalizations. Elena felt a wave of emotion wash over her, relief, pride, and a touch of lingering indignation at the council's methods. She turned to address the crowd, but paused as she saw Zixara approach. The Zarkali High Councilor's body now pulsed with steady, harmonious patterns. Ambassador, Zixara began, its voice softer than Elena had ever heard it. We came here skeptical, even fearful of your relationship with Earth's animals. We leave humbled and eager to learn. The Zarkali Federation would be honored to sponsor Earth's membership in the Galactic Council. Elena smiled, feeling the weight of the moment. We would be honored to accept, High Counselor, though perhaps we can negotiate some guidelines on future tests and simulations. As the sun rose higher, bathing the battered exhibition grounds in warm light, Elena watched as humans, animals, and aliens began to mingle freely. Zarkali cautiously petting dogs, Klulax attempting to mimic bird calls, even the crystalline beings from Orion carefully cradling curious kittens. Whiskers purred contentedly on her shoulder, and Elena scratched behind his ears. Well, old friend, she murmured, looks like we've got a lot of work ahead of us. The galaxy isn't quite ready for cat videos and puppy memes, but give it time. As if in response, Whiskers let out a soft meow. Around them, the sounds of barks, chirps, and alien languages blended into a symphony of newfound understanding. Humanity had taken its first real step into the galactic community, and they did it not alone, but hand in paw with the creatures they had befriended so long ago. The Galactic Pet Show had become something far greater than Elena could have ever imagined, the dawn of a new era of interspecies cooperation, with Earth and its unique bonds, leading the way into a future filled with possibilities as vast and varied as the cosmos itself.